Hello everyone, welcome to the video of today. This is Beyond the Truth. Today we are going to be talking about, have we forgotten what boredom is? This might be a weird thought, but have we forgotten what boredom is? We say the word constantly, we use it in many different connotations, but does it have the same meaning as it used to do? By definition, bored means feeling weary because one is unoccupied or lacks interest in one's current activity. I just love dictionary descriptions. There is something so satisfying with the old clinical use of language, but that is going way out on a tangent. If you are my generation and older, you might know what I mean by this. But if you are younger than me, then this will seem like complete and utter babble to you. I am of a generation that saw the rise of tech, that grew up with it. I remember the moments when we saw the first computer, when we got to use the internet for the first time, when we got to see the first mobile phone. For younger people, all the tech was just there. It was the way that the world functioned. It was the norm. But for us, it was very different. We had to do the adjusting. We actually know what every single piece of new tech did for us and how every single device changes our life, changed the way how we do things, and basically changed who we are. Let me paint you a picture of the world before the tech explosion. It might seem like dark ages for you, but I call it my childhood. We had phones, the domestic kind, the ones that had a spiral cord connection, the headset to the main phone unit. You know the symbol for phone calls in your phones? Well, that was the handset that you would pick up and put on one end of your ear and the other in front of your mouth. And of course the phone had a rotary dial, the kind you only see in old movies nowadays. We had TVs too. In my particular case, there were two TV stations, the government ones, and a few years in, two more private stations opened. So TV as you know it now was not really there. There was this magical place, we used the French word for it, videothèque, where you could go, become a member, and for the price of a bottle of Coke, which were all glass bottles, no plastic was harmed in the production of soft drinks at all. And a much better way of doing things, by the way. You had to return the bottles to the shop, but still safer for the environment. But getting back on track, for the price of a Coke, you could rent a video cassette with any movie you wanted. That was the only sort of entertainment of that kind that there was to be had. I loved doing the old man routine, telling stories of the back in my day. But I am not that old. Ha ha. But anyway, you get the idea. The world was a very different place, a much more simple place, and you can say much more boring, because we did get bored. You were actually bored all the time. I have thought about that many times, and I still don't know which one I prefer. The constant flood of information from all sides, scrolling on social media when you have nothing to do, or the simplicity of days gone by. Now you just go for your phone, and you just scroll down and keep scrolling, and that is how you feel bored. That is not being bored. You are doing something. Take a second and think about this. When was the last time that you found yourself alone with absolutely nothing to do? Alone. Just you, with yourself only, staring out the window or staring at the ceiling with absolutely nothing to do. No. Do not go reaching for your phone. You don't have a phone. You have nothing. It is just you and your thoughts. No distractions at all. For hours and hours, all day long. Have you ever been in that situation? All millennials take everything for granted. They just keep scrolling down to see what new pics pop up in your Insta feed. Nothing wrong with that. I do that too. Ha ha. My girlfriend will be very angry with me, but I am man enough to admit it. You know, here I go again with the old man stories again. Back in my day, if you wanted to see the girl you liked in a bikini, you had to befriend someone that she went on holiday with and visit that person and hope that the photo album will come out and you can get a glimpse of how your crush looks in a bikini. That was our Instagram. We actually did that. We used to go around people's houses for visits, for talking, and photo albums was the main course of that whole exercise. I used to spend weekends in the countryside Almost all weekends we would go to my grandparents' village, and it was boring there. Nothing to do. You could go running up in the hills or play in the river, but that loses its charm pretty fast. You could play with the dogs and cats and the sheep that we used to take care of, but they are not that good of a company. The conversation is kinda non-existent. Everyone younger than me doesn't know how any of that means, and I think you never will. It is just the way of things now. Well, if you live in an area that gets power outages, you might know. If the power goes out for a full day, the internet will go out, and you will get to travel back in time. But not many places have power outages like that anymore. Oh, and that used to happen too. We had those long power outages for a full day or 2 days, and that was like time travel for us. We got to experience medieval way of life, going to bed with the chickens. As soon as it gets dark, you go to sleep. There are still people in the world that know what it feels to be really bored. The world is funny like that. All levels of evolution exist. We are at the modern tech age, the internet age of global connectivity and instant access to, well, everything your heart desires really. But at the same time, there are people that still have a Stone Age existence. They have no idea what electricity is. Let me paint you a picture. Let me introduce you to Musa. He's a young shepherd boy, and his family sends him out to take the herd of cows to pasture. Sometimes he has to stay out on the grasslands of Kenya for a full day, sometimes for a few days. And Musa is bored. He is really bored, in the true sense of the word. He has a small transistor. He can listen to the radio for the 2 hours that the batteries last, and he doesn't have any more. Small things like batteries can be expensive in parts of the world. So Musa is bored, and by now he can already recognize all the cows in his herd by face. He has given them names already. He has given them backstories, life experiences. He has conversations with them all. Because one's mind is a hungry creature. The mind needs information, needs distraction. I just made up Musa as we are talking, but there is a real Musa somewhere out there. There are many like him somewhere out there, in many forgotten corners of the world, even in some corners that would surprise you. So when you find yourself sitting with your friend in Starbucks with your mocha latte or whatever it is that you do, when you are scrolling down the endless pics on your Insta feed and you start whining with your friend how life is boring, just don't. Your life is not boring. What you're experiencing is not boredom. Just think of Musa. Take a second to think what it would be like to be in Musa's place. On that note, if you like this little rant, you know the drill. Like, sub, and so on and so forth. Congratulations to everyone that lasted to the end. Thank you so much for watching. It means the world to us. Take care, stay safe, and never stop questioning. Peace out.